When it comes to getting solid advice on retirement, Dwight Rich is here to help. He joins us live here in studio with what you need to know in regards to our investments and our plans for retirement. Rich, Dwight, it's great to have you here once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
So retirement just can be just one of those things I feel like we put off, right? Thinking about that. And the first question that I want to know is, what do people typically get wrong with that? I mean, I know probably putting it off is not a good thing. That could be one of them. But what else can complicate things for us?
Well, I think the number one problem I see that when people come in the door with us is that they haven't made that shift from a growth type of portfolio to more of an income. You know, you're in an accumulation phase when you're, in your career, but when you retire, you're in a decumulation. So you need to really make that shift towards an income portfolio. And this has become even worse now that we've had such a great bull market. People kind of forget that, you know, we've had these types of drawdowns that have lasted for a long period of time, and you got to be prepared, because if we have another one of those, then you'll have to start kind of killing your chickens versus eating the eggs from your portfolio, where you want to have that income. So making that shift, I think, is the number one thing I see people
getting that first start, man. It's always the toughest. A lot of people have this to face, where they're maybe working for a company and say they have that 401k, and they also have kind of a self-directed IRA at the same time. How do you let them both coexist? Did you roll one into the other, or just leave them both there until you're no longer working at that?
That's a great question. I mean, you know, a 401k is a great vehicle to accumulate wealth, because oftentimes your employer is adding money to it, so you're getting performance.
Yeah.
But from you know, a retirement and distribution and income approach, oftentimes doesn't have a lot of choices. So, for example, they don't have individual bonds, and they may, in some cases, not even have bond funds. So you have very limited things that you can invest in. It's kind of like being on a bus. It's made for the mass transit and not really customized for you. So I think oftentimes it makes a lot of sense, not for everyone, but for a lot of folks, to roll that into a self-directed IRA where you've got a lot more options and you can customize an income portfolio for yourself.
What are your thoughts on when people have the ability to get that pension? Do you suggest the lump sum or a monthly?
Well, it just depends on your situation, but the things that you really need to consider are, if you take it as a monthly pension, then you give up control of your tax situation. So that may affect your ability to get an Affordable Care Act subsidy. If you're below 65, you've got to pay for health insurance, right? Mm-hmm. And it also may affect your ability to do things like Roth conversions. So once you turn that on, that can be problematic for some folks. The other thing that you've got to consider is, if you haven't worked for the government, if you've got a private pension, your pension is insured by the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, but it's not insured all the way to the sky. For example, when United Airlines had a pension problem and the pension went kind of belly up, the PBGC came in, but they didn't insure 100% of it. A lot of the pilots got 49 cents on the dollar. So you need to understand how much of your pension is actually insured. And the last thing I'll mention is, you know, a lot of pensions will have benefits for their spouse, but if something happens to both of you, you've got no legacy value.
Right.
So that can be a deciding factor as well.
And of course, the stock market has a say in all of this if you have your investments tied up in something. Yesterday, we had a rock star kind of a day on Wall Street. Do you expect more of that to come? I mean, we're kind of in an election cycle. That'll kind of play with this as well. But where do you see things kind of playing out with regards to the stock market this year?
Well, you know, I wish I had the crystal ball, right?
You could make a lot of money if you had the crystal ball.
The election years have been positive on the whole, but you know, there's so many things that can happen, and like we saw just last week with the assassination attempt, you don't know, things can change in a heartbeat. So I think people just need to be aware, if they're approaching retirement or in retirement, over that period of time, they're likely to see another type of protracted bear market. So if they haven't made a switch to more of an income portfolio, that can be a real problem, because they'll have to start selling principal as opposed to their income. And so I make no prediction about where we'll be 12 months from now, but you know, I think that there's a lot of folks that could you know, have predictions for, you know, a bear market or a rolling, you know, a bull market too. So you just have to reposition to make sure that you're prepared for both.
Need a professional to help you find the opportunities like yourself. What is it like to meet with you for the first time? Do you offer like a consult, or what do people need to know?
Absolutely. So we come in, we free consultation, and where you would basically go through and explain your situation. We look at all the numbers, we look at, you know, your risk tolerance, and when you want to retire, when we crunch the numbers, help you optimize your Social Security, look at your portfolio, look at your pension, help you make that decision if you want to make a decision on pension, whether it's a payment or on a lump sum, and go through the whole thing from like kind of soup to nuts.
All right, great to see you. Thank you so much.
You too.
Important stuff there. For more information, just go to richwealthradio.com. We're coming right back with more Great Day Live.